what's up, everybody? Welcome to an episode of Riding Around in My Truck. This is probably going to be a longer post just to update everybody about what's been going on in my life. Not that anybody cares, but I figured I would put it out there. So, just want to retrace some steps with everybody. Back in 2022, in September, Hurricane Ian came through. Category 4 hurricane. A lot of people said it was a Category 5. And my roofing company, Douglas Restoration, was poised at the time. And we came out swinging on that storm. We were up to, at one point, doing 40 roofs a week towards the beginning of 2023. My personal home got flooded during that hurricane, and so we ended up having to move out. We moved into a rental property, and then we ended up buying a property over in Northport, and a lot of changes have happened. When we were roofing like 40 roofs a week, I just was working every day, and I wasn't feeling fulfilled in my career, as funny as that sounds. We were very successful, doing really well, but I've been a roofing contractor since 2005, and so we ended up deciding to do something a little bit different. So back in April of 2024, I went and got my insurance adjuster's license. So I got the adjuster's license and didn't really know at the time exactly what I was going to do with it, but I wanted to get it just in case I wanted to use it. So fast forward a couple of months, about 6 months later, I got an opportunity to be deployed as a catastrophe adjuster for Allstate. And so I traveled to Georgia in October, away from my family. As soon as Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton's came through, and I went up to Valdosta, and I worked for about 5 or 6 weeks on the catastrophe team for Allstate. And I would go to these customers' houses, and I would look at their roofs, and I would meet with roofing contractors, and I was, writing up these estimates, and I would send them into Allstate for their approval to pay the claim out. And constantly kept getting disappointed by the desk adjusters and the bosses that I had. They kept making me change my estimates. They didn't want to pay what was fair to the homeowner. And at the time, it was very frustrating. I had some internal struggles with that because my whole career I've fought as a roofing contractor to get as much money from the insurance companies as possible. And here I found myself doing the exact opposite and working for the other team. And I was trying to save the insurance companies money. Not me personally, but I was working for Allstate doing that. And so once my deployment got finished up, all the claims started to dwindle down, and Allstate, ended my catastrophe deployment. I went back home to the family and was just kind of, picking up the pieces of where my roofing company was left without me for 6 weeks. And it was really difficult to pick up all the pieces, and I found myself in a rut to where I again wasn't fulfilled in my career. And so, after a lot of talks with my wife, I decided to become a public adjuster, and with hopes of one day, starting my own public adjusting firm that I would be able to assist the policyholders that get affected by tornadoes, hailstorms, hurricanes, that I would be able to help facilitate in getting them, top dollar for their claims, so that they could have enough funds to be able to restore their home, to move back in, after having my house affected by the hurricane, having been flooded, having my insurance company cheat me out of over $100,000 that my insurance company didn't want to pay. So I, back in March, and towards the middle of February, I went into a public adjusters boot camp in Galveston, Texas, that was very, very good for me to go there to learn what it takes to be a public adjuster. And then shortly after that, I started my new career as a public adjuster. And I signed on with one of the biggest public adjusting firms in Florida, the guys over at 5 Star Claims Adjusting. And so I recently changed my profile to be Michael Douglas for that reason, because that is my real name, Michael Stevenson Douglas. And when you're going around as a public adjuster, you have to use your real name. You can't use your middle name. You can't use abbreviations. The Department of Financial Services forbids that, especially with any type of posts and advertising, and I don't want to get in trouble with that. So people might be asking, well, what are you doing with your roofing company? Well, I sold all of my interests in the roofing company. Now my wife, Serena, she is the sole owner of and president of Douglas Restoration, Inc. If you look us up, Douglas Restoration, Inc., on Sunbiz, on the Florida documents, my name will not appear anymore. So I'm currently full-time as a public adjuster, going around helping policyholders to file their claims, to meet adjusters, to get paid out. And it's a very rewarding experience to start something new. You get that feeling in your gut that, you're taking some chances, you're gambling with quite a bit. And for me personally, I have a lot to gamble with. I have, 7 children to feed. I have a wife, and I had a lot of employees at Douglas Restoration that relied on me. And so we decided to let go of the big roofing business and to run more of a mom and pop shop, is what Serena is doing with the folks over at Douglas Restoration. A couple of office girls and 1 or 2 sales representatives. And so having that big 40 roofs a week company, 20 roofs a week company, that's not what Douglas Restoration is about anymore. That company is doing a smaller operation, and so I'm very excited about everything that I've been doing for the last month. I haven't really posted much about what's going on because there was a lot to work through in my transition. However, I'm 100% committed on being a public adjuster and working for the guys at 5 Star Claims Adjusting. Currently doing my apprenticeship with them. It's a 6-month apprenticeship, and I'm about 2 months in right now. Almost 2 months, not quite. So I've got some clients that I've went out and found. I got some new ideas on how to find clients, and I'm just really excited over the course of the next few months and to see what is going on with the hurricane season this year. I'm poised to come out swinging as a public adjuster as soon as the hurricane comes through. I'm going to be on the ground, not as a roofer, but as a public adjuster. And so I have a lot of, relationships with people in the roofing business, and I'm going to use that to my advantage, meeting with roofing contractors, helping them to get claims approved, helping the folks that are affected by the hurricanes and by the storms. And so, I'm just really excited about everything that's going on. There's a lot of stress involved. Obviously, when you close down a big roofing operation and you are transitioning to a smaller operation, letting go of a lot of employees, letting people in on what's going on, and downsizing, and just kind of concentrating on myself, my personal goals, and my family goals. And obviously, in making this transition, there's going to be a lot of learning curve. And so I'm in that learning curve right now. And I just wanted to update everybody about what was going on with your boy, Michael Douglas, with 5 Star Claims Adjusting. Give me a call if you're a roofing contractor and you're looking at getting claims approved without having to send them to an attorney. If you're a policy holder that your insurance company didn't treat you right, I can help with that. When someone signs a letter of representation for me to represent them on an insurance claim, the insurance company has to go through me. They can't whittle around it. They have to speak to a knowledgeable person about the claims process. And if the insurance company isn't treating you fair, there's options on your policy that allow you to mediate with the insurance company. An attorney is not needed every single claim. Now, the attorneys do have their place in the process, which I can guide you through if it gets to that point. But right now, the Florida roofing business and the Florida insurance market is clashing, and I wanted to do something that was going to bridge the gap. So I'm a public adjuster. I'm working every day. Give me a call if you want to connect. I'm Michael Douglas, 941-585-8911. Same phone number as always have. Give me a call, guys.